You okay?
I literally haven't changed my outfit in like 2 days.
I'm sick of it!
I just can't get it together today. Not okay. All of us have problems.
Hey, welcome into It's Okay, the podcast. Happy Monday. How is it going? How was your weekend? Guys, the weekend goes by so quickly. It's crazy. You get 1 day, then you get 2 days. It's like, what? And then back at it again. It always feels too short and never long enough. It felt great to just debrief, take a break from the week earlier. If you listen to this past Friday's episode about what is really going on all in Florida, yeah, you know that the past week was just so incredibly long. But we're back Monday, feeling greater and better than ever, okay? Rejuvenated, revitalized, all of that, and then some. But in today's episode, I'm pretty sure the title threw you off a little bit. The homelessness epidemic it's a lot all wrapped into it. Paying attention to the news, of course, we're now starting to hear about all of this fraud and things of that nature. You do have various organizations and things like that are supposed to advocate for the homeless, help with the homeless, and different things like that. But you also hear how they're raking in hundreds of billions of dollars, but when you look around the city, look around the country, it's like, what actually are you guys doing with the money? Because the problem is just getting entirely worse. And I was having a conversation with someone the other day, and we're talking about the homelessness problem, and it made me start to think like maybe it's the social media, the fact that we can see what's going on across the country quite literally from our phone that's in our pocket. It used to not be like that, like camera footage, everyone's seeing what's going on in other countries, people, civilians telling us what's going on in their country. I mean, that just wasn't a thing way back then. So has this always been a problem? I don't know. Statistically speaking, no. I mean, obviously there was not this much homelessness. When you go back and back, it's only gotten worse, and there are more homeless people than ever. But again, it just makes me think, like, when you thought of homelessness back then, you did not necessarily think about someone who was strung out on drugs, potentially and statistically speaking a criminal, and someone who is willing to risk it all, even someone's life, for whatever the gain they see at the time, even if it's just a hit of whatever they're addicted to and other things. I'm not sure, but you thought of it as like, oh, someone who's couch surfing, someone who truly is down on their luck and is in between jobs and maybe living out of their car, or you did sleep a couple of nights underneath the bridge. I don't know. I've never been homeless, never had to deal with that. Have random thoughts of like, oh my gosh, I am late on this, or this is happening and I am going to end up being homeless. But I do have a family that will, of course, take me in and let me get back on my feet. Is that the case for some homeless people? Yes. Do they want to take it? No. And is that the case for some homeless people? Sometimes no, not at all. They don't have any family that can take them in. But that was back then. Now, It's zombie city that you're seeing on certain streets in certain cities, in some entire cities is what they make it out to be. It's just people addicted to drugs, setting up tents, getting quick hits. No, I'm not trying to rhyme, but this is such a crazy time. I'm sorry. I had to make a little light up in it. But look, it is absolutely insane. So I'm going to speak about what I see, right? And if what I see is what I see, other people obviously are seeing it too. And it's like, for one person to see the stuff that I see, listen, I don't even know what I'm trying to say when I say that, but listen, I work in a hospitality industry. I have mentioned that I work in a pharmacy. Now, the pharmacy, of course, sells other items than just prescriptions. So you have household items, you've got makeup you can buy at the pharmacy, all your family friendly, enthusiastic, seasonal, family, whatever needs at the local pharmacy. Obviously, that's what, so the things that I see homeless people steal is absolutely egregious. And then we're on the other end of this conversation. We're not going to talk about what the homeless steal. We're going to talk about what just everyday average people steal, who you can gather, right? When you look at a person and you sum them up, you can gather 9 times out of 10 what is going on maybe in their life, based on how they're dressed, based on their energy, based on their eyes, based on their spirit, their soul. You can gather and you can guess quickly 9 times out of 10, right? I'm going to give an example of this. If you see a woman, doesn't matter what race she is, but let's give her a race, Mexican, dirty feet that you can see because she's got on flip-flops that are hanging on by a thread. Maybe she's got on just a black dress, huge boobs, pear-shaped, maybe a little bit of a potato shape, with dirty hair pulled into a ponytail. What would you guess this woman is? You would guess potentially broken fingernails. You would guess maybe that she is a streetwalker who is homeless. Maybe you would guess that she is, that's the only thing I can think of when I see a woman like that. So, and it doesn't matter what race. She could be white, same description, homeless, and probably a streetwalker. Black, whatever race, probably a streetwalker. You don't even have to give the race. You can just give just that description alone. Streetwalker, potentially homeless. Like, that is a situation that you can see clearly and be right 9 times out of 10. Okay, so the things that I see homeless people steal, I can gather that they're homeless. Nor does anyone regularly walk around in dirty clothes, right? Regular clothes. If you are in a uniform and you're a mechanic, you've got some smut, some oil on your clothes, makes sense. If you've got on an apron, maybe, and the apron has even that on it, you would think that they're a mechanical engineer. They're working on the parts. They're not just installing them. They're creating them. I don't know. That would be an apron, or with the flower on it, bakery. Like, okay, uniform has some stains, residue, whatever on them. Regular clothes, however, I just don't know. And then busted up, eyes crazy, you're frantic, and the hair is always a giveaway. But the things I see homeless people steal, right? It's candy. 9 times out of 10, they never steal like hygienic products. That is something you can tell. And I've spoken about how I am an inventory specialist. So I'm looking at the numbers. You can look at what's being stolen based off of what you're actually selling and what's coming in and how many you receive and based on how many were sold and then you don't got any more. So yeah, it was stolen, like all of that. Not stealing hygienic products. I don't even understand. Now, condoms. Stealing condoms. Stealing makeup. The streetwalker stealing makeup and nails. I'm like, okay, but like I said, we'll get in on the back end of people who are not that stealing those things. They do, however, steal cleaning supplies. Also, people who are not homeless steal cleaning supplies. I might as well just go ahead with the differ of the two. Okay, yeah, non-homeless people are stealing cleaning products, but they steal cleaning products. I'm thinking it is to sell and or to give to someone else who can sell them, but that person who wants to sell the cleaning supplies is giving them a little hit of a drug. And them giving them a little hit is nothing to their wallet because they've just come up on a bunch of cleaning supplies they can sell for more, less, whatever, and make a profit. Obviously. And then you've got them stealing ice cream. I'm like, y'all are stealing ice cream. I understand it's a hot day. Out here in Nevada, but come on. It's things like that. They definitely steal liquor and wine, steal that out of the wazoo. There is a defendant. I will not say his name, but I do know his name because of police records. This man is a habitual, repeat offender of stealing wine. That's all he comes in to steal, just wine. Sometimes he'll have a bag and get a couple of bottles. Sometimes he'll have no bag and just take them in his hands and grab 2 bottles. He typically gets the same wine. I don't know if it's for him. I don't know if it's for the community of homeless people that he hangs with. Definitely not sure. Actually, guys, a couple of years ago, this person ended up on the bus with me. A police report was filed on him earlier that day. And then later that night, he was on the bus with me. He did not recognize me. He got on and went just straight to the back. And I quickly got off at the next stop, though. I had to wait to the next stop. But yeah, that just was all very surreal. So on the back end of this, we'll get into the legal system and how absolutely trashy it is. They want us all to not feel safe. And they all want us to be violently attacked in some way. Clearly. But as you hear me saying yes, it's a male. He looks terrible and is entirely too old to be doing what he is doing. But these are the people on the streets who are, quote unquote, the homeless community that we speak of. Now, of course, you still have, like we mentioned, the people in the past that used to have that homeless stigma to them. There are people who quite literally are down on their luck. They do not participate in all of this drug and illegal stealing of alcohol. Alcoholics are homeless. Things like that. Participating in these addictions, right? That are down on their luck, that are trying to find a job and are trying to not be homeless anymore. I just believe now that that percentage of people is very less than what it used to be back in the day. You have fentanyl, meth, crack, all types of these very addictive drugs that are throughout the streets and ruining these people's lives. You can see when I run across so many high people, it's insane. Like literally you can tell they are zooted. This past Friday, I was doing my job. A man walked up to me. You could clearly tell he was homeless. Very much dirty clothes. He had on like a short trench coat kind of situation. Hair absolutely all over his head. He had a bunch of like chains and diamond flashy rings around his fingers and holding one bracelet. And I'm pretty sure it was fake. Obviously, a man walking around looking like that could not have real jewelry. Or maybe he stole it off. I don't know what his story is, but it could not have been good to be ending up how he was speaking to me. He asked me, do you know what happened to the gas pump that was by the sign? There used to be a gas pump by the sign. And I had no idea what he was talking about. Maybe where we were, there used to be a gas station in the area and it no longer isn't. I had no idea. And he was like, they're trying to steal our jewels and they're trying to do this and that or whatever. I don't even know. All of it was incoherent, made absolutely no sense. He also had a kind of a wrench in his hand. So that scared me. He could have thrown it at me or could have tried to beat me with it. I don't even know. But it was like one of those ones that mechanics use to like screw their bolts on cars. You know what I don't know what it's called, but you know what I'm talking about. Envision that in someone's hand who's also holding a diamond bracelet with diamond rings on their fingers and they're clearly homeless. But yeah, I tried to be as nice as I could. I did not know where it was going. This past Friday, we spoke about a man who beat a woman with a hammer. Clearly, he had to have been on drugs and had to have been doing terrible in his life to want to do that to someone. So I just remained calm and I was like, yeah, ever since I've been here, I have not seen it. I don't know what happened. And he calmly muttered nothings and then walked out of the door. And I was just like, oh my gosh, it's just very insane. Don't even know what he was talking about. That very same day, as I'm leaving to go home, I'm going to show you the imagery on my TikTok, on my Twitter, now called X, on my Facebook. And I'm not going to post it on Instagram because I don't really think that content is like feasible for Instagram, but I'm going to post what passed by me as I'm awaiting for the bus, my public transportation to get home. I'm like, are there a bunch of homeless mechanics in the area? I don't even know what the man was carrying. He wasn't even carrying it. He was dragging it. It was on a chain. It was like a metal piece. It kind of looked like something that would go inside of a car. I don't even know. Hair all over his head. I think he had on just a white wife beater. It just was so insane to have seen. So I take a picture of it. It's a live photo that I took. So you can see the video, the live of him dragging this thing down the street. And he's just walking. And he was talking to himself. I have never seen that type of stuff in my life. Like, it's absolutely insane to me. Right now, on top of the homelessness epidemic, you also have this just huge theft problem. The homelessness are taking a part of it, and everyday regular people who are just clearly have no morals and have no qualm about them, right? There were two young women, they had to have been 18 or younger, who unfortunately were of the melanin, African-American women. They had on, I think they did have on bonnets. We've spoken about the bonnet girls. I think they did, right? Young. They've got iPhones in their hands. They literally steal like 2 things of diapers and 2 wipes, right? Now, I don't know if they were stealing it for themselves and they had children, or I don't know if they were stealing it for someone else. Now, when you have someone that young, there are situations that I've seen where parents of all races have been with their children and they've been stealing. Literally come in, grab a bunch of crap, and just walk out with their children. I've seen a father do it with his daughter, seen it in that scenario as well. Just people just stealing the muck. And it's like these people, you can tell, have a roof over their head, right? The guy who stole with his daughter, she was like maybe 4 or younger. He had on like a gray long sleeve baggy shirt with some jeans and some decent shoes and didn't look ugly, but clearly your morals and what you represent in front of your daughter is ugly, which makes you ugly then too. I'm like this. So have situations like that. Now, I mentioned this to someone who is near and dear to my heart about the 2 girls stealing, and they're just like, oh, you know, if you're a mother, I would do it too. I'm like, that's not that type of situation though. You have iPhones in your hand. I don't know if your mother is paying your bill or if you're paying your bill, but if you have an iPhone in your hand, you should not be stealing. If you have a car, you should not be stealing. Some people have EBT cards and are stealing. You see the homeless do it all the time. Literally have an EBT card, will come in and steal dumb stuff and then buy a soda as if they didn't just steal a bunch of stuff with their EBT card. I've seen women do it too. All walks, shapes, and sizes that do it, especially the men who are homeless. They definitely do it. Some of the women mainly, they just walk out. They're not going to try to steal a bunch of stuff and then stick around to buy a soda. Like, they're out of there. But the men, they do that. So it's just, this is what I experience on a regular day-to-day basis. Some days it's better. Some days it's entirely crazy. Sometimes you'll have a gang of people that will come in. We had a situation like this where it looked like they were a family almost. There were 3 or 4 women and 3 guys all come in. I don't even know. They all come in. One of them steals a bag of chips. Police find the bag of chips in one of the guy's pants. Don't know what the woman ended up stealing. They don't necessarily, the police find anything on them, but they're literally getting in like an old school Cadillac. I want to say the Cadillac was maybe like a 2000 or 10 or younger Cadillac. All of them in the same car. Like, you guys came in to steal that. They were all dressed in like white shirts and jeans. So I'm like, are y'all like a gang, or are y'all like at a family event and came to the local pharmacy to steal and go back to the family event? I don't know. But it's things like that. Like, you should not want to steal like this. You maybe need to reprioritize what you're spending your money on so that you don't feel like you have to steal. Some people just don't care. Brazenly. Just don't care. Like, don't have a care in the world. Don't think that they're going to get caught. We've all been through that, right? I've got a DUI underneath my belt. Didn't think I was going to get caught driving drunk. Dumb. Yeah, but at the end of the day, you have to reform yourself. You cannot continuously do this. The guy who I mentioned, who is the wine bandit, who continuously comes and steals wine, he actually was in prison, or I shouldn't say prison. He was in jail for, I want to say, a year or less. Got right back out doing the same thing again. I've got all of that. Police records. Yeah, it's insane. So for you to do that and to not reform is the difference. And we know that, right? So I just think it's absolutely insane how the world is coming to today. I don't think that if I was living in suburbia, I would see it as much potentially. It's always the inner cities that are banger, bust them up, filled with alcohol, drugs, and trash. Unfortunately. And this is where I say, like, they want us to be brutally attacked one day and just not fix the problem, because you have this soft on crime approach, right? I want to say it was around 2020 and thus on, where you can steal up to $900 and not go to jail, like nothing happens to you. Even if you continuously steal, build up this record about yourself, it shouldn't even be that. You shouldn't have to build up this atrocious record upon yourself for them to finally be like, oh, maybe this person shouldn't be on the streets. No. Person should not be on the streets at all, especially when it comes to violent crime. Okay, the theft of the homeless, stealing candy, ice cream, and non-essential needs. Okay. Them continuously doing it, though, it's like, look, something has to happen. This is like annoying at this point. You need to reform. But violent crime, however, the guy who was dragging the metal, like, car looking device piece, literally, you have to go to my social media to see it. It's going to be posted when you listen to this episode. It'll be there. TikTok, Twitter, formerly known as Twitter, now X, and on Facebook. Go to the Facebook page, It's Okay X, the It's Okay Pod, TikTok, the It's Okay Pod, to see this image. Like, how I posted this, like, how many times do you think this guy has been arrested based off of what he looks like and what he was dragging behind him, right? Like, it's situations like that. I can almost guarantee he has got some violent offense underneath his belt. Something dealing with assault of a man or a woman, doesn't even matter. Definitely has that underneath his rap sheet. And to have these constant offenses underneath you and you are not locked up is crazy to me. This past Friday, you've got someone who isn't even a native to this country, came here in 2022. I have to make a correction. In Friday episode, I said he came in 2020. No, it was 2022. Before the past 3 years, you lived in a whole nother country for the entirety of your life. I don't even remember how old this man was. The man who attacked the woman in Florida, Robert Joaquin. I can't remember, or didn't remember, or I don't even think it was stated from the research that I saw. I'm pretty sure it's out there, but I just didn't see it upon my research of how old this guy was. But it doesn't matter. For the entirety of his life, he lived in Haiti, and 3 years ago came here. He already was a suspect in another crime. So he should have been locked up until they figured out what crimes he did or didn't commit. Because you're not even from here, and you is killing people. Absolutely insane. It's things like that where they're just entirely too soft on crime. Florida, of all places. I'm like, I thought they would have been had him out of there. By the way that they promote how tough Florida is on crime. So it's things like that just, yeah, it makes it insane to me to think that our country, our government, our Congress, locally and federally, is allowing things like this to occur. Absolutely crazy. I know you've seen in California how they'll literally go 20 people to one place and like just go in and steal a bunch of stuff. You had one situation where they went into a jewelry store, stole a bunch of stuff. They like didn't necessarily knock the man out, but they like pushed him down, and he was trying to defend himself. It looked like he just didn't know what to do, so he really didn't do anything. Couldn't do anything. There were so many people. Yeah, came in and stole a bunch of jewelry. I remember one where they were snatching all of the iPhones and stealing a bunch of iPhones, a gang of people, all the time. And it's just, there is this idea, this energy in the cities, in the air for people like nothing's going to happen. Nothing is going to happen. You can't touch me as well. Don't want to, not me, but as far as like a security officer goes, some places they'll, not have that. Tasers and all that are out for security, and it's insane. This was not a thing back in the day before 2020, back in 2016, back in 2008, like, to have a security guard at a place to shop literally is crazy. Like, security guards at the malls, I think, have always been a thing, but just at a pharmacy, you have to have a security guard. At a Macy's, you have to have a security guard. At Tiffany's, at Gucci, at Yves Saint Laurent, like, you literally have to have security guards now, because there have been gangs of people coming in stealing things, and or lone people coming in to steal things, and knowing that nothing can happen to them, they're likely to not be caught, and all types of other crazy stuff. And this is the world that we live in now. Absolutely crazy. Homeless running amok, terrorizing its streets and communities. Absolutely insane. The fact that you're on a bus and someone has a knife just out is crazy. I remember I know we've all seen the social media video of the people on a train. I think they were actually in a different country. I think they were in the UK. What's going on over there, the reports that we're hearing about, very crazy. They don't have gun problems like we do, but they be stabbing it up. I want to say it was an Arab man, whatever nationality this guy was. He was of, I'm thinking, a Muslim culture or descent, whatever that is. Had his pants just pulled down, just on the train, like whatever, and yelling at the guy, like, don't touch, like, whatever he was saying, don't know. Disgusting. It's things like that absolutely just make no sense. Make absolutely no sense. And they're just, like I said, running amok, terrorizing the rest of the country. And they've already been arrested 16 million times, and for some reason are on the streets. Doesn't make sense. And yeah, I'm going to say it. I'm going to pat myself on the back like, okay, I have a DUI and reformed my life thereafter. So yeah, like, it can be done. There is sometimes no point of return. I remember seeing this past week, Matt Walsh did a show about how it's only 2% of people in the country committing all of this crime, but we continuously let them out. It's not 365 million people who live in America committing crimes. That doesn't even make sense. If that were the case, like, we would all have offed each other by now. 365 million people that they know of living in the country are not committing crimes. No, it's the repeat offenders. It's the habitual people. Less than 1% of regular citizens, according to Matt Walsh, I didn't do the research. Do I believe it to be true? Yes. Are not committing crimes. We do not commit crimes and have not been arrested in our lifetimes. On average, it's 1, but even then, it's not an average. The average is 0, right? And the fact that you have people who have been arrested 16, 14, 38, 56, 123 times makes no sense. None whatsoever. Didn't Bill Clinton come up with like a 3-strike rule? Where is that? Who overturned that? And for me, I'm okay with it, because I will not and am not going to be committing any more crimes in my lifetime. The DUI, that is a violent crime. I could have killed someone. I could have killed myself, all of that. Yes, but are there plans to do anything else like that ever again? No. So when you have other people doing it 16, all of these other times, 3-strike rule, you're out of here, buddy. Get out of here. Like, it's just egregious. It's absolutely egregious. And it's hood. It's ghetto. And everyone knows it, right? You've got the stereotype of like, oh, come up out the hood, they move to the suburban neighborhood. Yeah, I see why. Because what on earth are the local governments allowing to occur? It makes no sense. It makes no sense. Like I mentioned in F-Boy Crimes 2, The Predator, you've got someone who for like 5 years of their life was just continuously creating crimes. I think he had a year a crime, statistically speaking, if you wanted to average it, whatever. And then at the tail end of his crime brigade, assaulted a 4-year-old and gave her a sexually transmitted disease. This could not have occurred had he already been locked up for the violent offenses that he had. So it doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't make sense to me. Violent crime, I think, is just, you should not be able to just skate free. You just shouldn't. It don't make sense to me. It really doesn't. And I understand we have to be kind. We have to represent a Christ-like love. We will maybe do a Bible study or a read on how Christ feels about violence and what should be done to thy who commits it. But I think for the children and for us to have a future for the children, violent crime committers should not be on the streets. They should be just locked down. You know what I mean? We can get into another day about people who are serving sentences that shouldn't be serving sentences. And I remember the whole weed conversation being a thing, like, oh, this person is locked up for 20 years for a dime bag. I understand that completely. That makes sense to me because it's not a violent crime. And that's where the conversation was being had. They're like, oh, they're being locked up for so long on these violent offenses, on these non-violent offenses. And then you've got people who have violent offenses who literally are not even in jail, like literally just on the streets. Like, what? Doesn't make sense to me. It's completely backwards, flipped on its head. The devil is involved. The devil is always involved. The devil is involved in the details on that one. Gotta be. But look, this Monday's episode is to also bring awareness to this. This is something that we should be discussing. I don't think that people should be afraid to be at the mall, to be at a bus stop, to be at a jewelry store, people picking engagement rings and being bludgeoned and being bashed in the head by a robber, a gang of them, is unthinkable and shouldn't even be the case. I don't think that that's happened. I haven't heard a story that happened, but at this point, that is at the rate of where we are going. People having these happy and amazing events in their lives being ruined by the 1% of criminals who are continuously let back out on the streets. And the judges who are continuously letting them back out on the streets, they are not doing it underneath the guise of, oh, we should be Christ-like and forgive as Christ gives. They are not saying none of that in their trials against the defendants that they are letting free. Not even uttered. So the reasons why I couldn't tell you, it's just ridiculous. I'm like, you went to school all your life to let criminals continue to stab and beat people with hammers. I don't know where we're going with this. It doesn't make sense. But I again just want to bring some light to this, shed some awareness to this, because it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. And on a local level, I have messaged on social media apps the local governors and state attorneys, like, look, what is going on. Hopefully these messages are getting through. Hopefully this message gets through. They need to do better for the citizens of this country. It doesn't even make sense. It doesn't even make sense. Congress could literally fix these problems with the sign of a pen, and for some reason they're twiddling their thumbs and raking in billions of dollars through NGOs and organizations that promote that they're fixing the homelessness problem and all this other stuff, but actually not doing anything. Not doing anything, babe. Not doing anything. I just had to get on here this Monday to complain a little bit about the tales I have from the hood. Y'all, it's so crazy the things that be going on on the streets of Nevada. I'm like, this is absolutely insane. And this is daytime activity. I don't want to know what nighttime activity is like. Yeah, I'm good on it. I'm very good on it. This Friday's episode, we're actually keeping it in Nevada. Mean Girls Crimes number 3. A mother from Utah here in Nevada on a cheer competition situation, cheer with her daughter, right? Her and the daughter aren't seen at the competition. They see them at first, but there's I don't know if it was like a 2-day, 3-day weekend, 7-week, 7-day cheer competition or cheer camp. It may have been cheer camp or something. Didn't see them. They're worried. Go to the hotel room. The mother has killed the daughter and then herself. Absolutely insane. We're going to get into all of it, who this woman was, what was going on in her life, and what potentially was the reason on why she took her daughter's life. Absolutely insane. I was like, what? Are you kidding me? I think I saw this on Law and Crime. I don't know what they're aired on as far as cable television, but they have social media, YouTube, all of that stuff. So I saw it there and I'm like, what is going on? It just was very, very shocking to me. So that is coming up in this Friday's episode, Mean Girls Crimes number 3. Let's cheer. Yes, is the name a little too cute for the case that we're discussing? Yes, but it's also real. I just look, even with the things that I see on the streets of Nevada, it's okay. It's okay. I'm still here. I continuously want you and myself to keep your head on a swivel. Definitely don't just be out and about shopping and frilly-nilly with your headphones in, not paying attention. Definitely don't have both in. If you're going to have one in, have it in. Make sure it's turned to a reasonable level. You want to be able to hear all things, right? I'd rather hear what's all around me than what's in my ear, right? Have that kind of as like a background thing. Tune in and out. You need to be tuned in to what's around you and tune in and out of what's in your ear. Definitely be paying attention. You need to pay attention to people. I know sometimes for me, like, I don't want to look someone in the eyes because it could be a hit or a miss. Like, you're looking them in the eyes and then they get a fixation on you and stalk, and then you're dead. I don't know. My mind is maybe crazy and I watch too much true crime and like that is not going to be the case. But also at the end of the day, you never know. You never know. With this past case that we talked about with the guy in Florida, he saw this woman 2 days prior to him killing her and told police that he went back 2 days later to kill her. To have that happen is insane. So could it happen to any of us? Yes, that is a scary thought to have, but you do need to have it in the back of your mind. Better to have it than for it to happen to you, right? So just make sure you're staying vigilant, right? This past week, one of the Bible scriptures, if you have the Holy Bible app, then I'm sure you got the notification to 1 Peter 5:8 tells us to be sober, to be vigilant, so that the adversary cannot deceive us and forsake us. Okay, that is not verbatim, but that is what our scripture says. We should be vigilant. So we always need to be vigilant. We need to be aware. We need to know what is going on so that we can best prepare ourselves. And so that is where the message becomes okay? Just remember, guys, stay sober, stay vigilant. Remember, Christ is King. Christ is King. He is the King of the kings. It's okay.
All of us have problems.